permanent. You can't get rid of it forever. Lawyers are going to use. No, I'm just kidding. None of that. But Nicole, thank you so much for joining me. And before I mess up what could be a perfectly good intro, can you do me the honors of introducing yourself for everybody?
Yeah, thanks, Miguel. My name's Nicole Demonessis. I always tell people think Demon Essis, and you're never going to say it wrong. I'm a Bay Area filmmaker. I also run the Blood and Popcorn Film Festival. We're lucky enough to partner with the New Parkway in Oakland, and our goal is it's a micro horror film festival. We want to amplify Bay Area filmmakers as well as international talents, and we want to highlight horror films. And just have a good time because I love horror. So I'm always excited to find and discover new films, new filmmakers, and it's just a fun event.
Very nice, very nice. Now, before we dive too far in, I just want to ask, how did this get started? What led you to want to put on a film festival? Because I know it can't be easy.
It's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. And just being a Bay Area filmmaker, I love the process of making films within my community, utilizing resources, local resources, and I love using genre as a way to tell stories. And there are some really great horror films, horror festivals out there, but I really wanted to just I wanted to be able to highlight friends, some of my own work, and sometimes it's very competitive when you're doing festivals. And so just even starting at a grassroots level where I was showcasing some of my work and then including some of my friends, the more we've done different events, the more we're able to invite other filmmakers that maybe are a little more notable. What's nice about this upcoming festival is what we have some really great local filmmakers. We also have some nice sponsors that are local to the Bay Area, and their work is going to be highlighted in the festival. And then people who come to see the festival get to meet some of these creative people in person. And then the hope is that they meet, collaborate, and they make more films to show in the next year's festival. So
That is perfect. That's exactly what I love to hear because that's exactly what I hope to get from every film festival I go to. I may not have submitted to very many, but I just love the atmosphere, the people, the connections, and getting to see some awesome films. So let's make sure nobody misses this. Let's say it right off the top. Give me those dates to make sure they know where and when to be.
So we're right before Valentine's Day. We're going to be February 13th at the New Parkway Theater, and it's a late show. So maybe drink your coffee or an energy drink. It's going to be at 9:30. We're also going to have raffle prizes, and we're going to have a great Q&A. We have a great lineup of local filmmakers, so I want you to come out, meet your local creatives, make a friend. So hopefully you can then go make a movie.
I love that. I love, and I loved how you said to showcase your own work as well. Because one thing about the industry that people should definitely know off the top. I think it was a video I watched of Mark Duplass like forever ago, where he just keeps quoting, "The cavalry isn't coming. You have to make the
Right.
opportunities for yourself. You really do." And the fact that you are doing something that's not only going to benefit you but others to connect with others to showcase their work, that really shows the collaborative spirit of the entire film industry. And horror, I mean, I love horror movies. I'm going to do my best to be there. And it's just, I'm going to start with this one then. Is horror your main focus, or is that just a focus for this particular film festival?
Well, I do like comedy as well, and I like highlighting and celebrating LGBT characters. I'm a part of the LGBT community, and I like to use genre to tell more broader stories. But I'm also a horror fan. I get bored when I watch a loving sapphic film where it's just two women walking on the beach holding hands. I need some vampires. I need some werewolves. I need something that spices it up a little. Otherwise, I get a little bored. I think we need that content, but I love the genre content because it bridges audiences. I want all audiences to be able to enjoy my work, and I think when you're showcasing in a genre that people love anyway, they're more willing to hear those stories that they're not familiar with. They're more willing to be like, "Oh, I know somebody. I know." If they don't have that LGBT friend in their life, if they're introduced to this character that's fighting off monsters or struggling to survive, they're relating on a human level, and I think that's important.
I like that. I like that very much. It makes sense to me because there's always that horror movie for every person that really did scare the crap out of them growing up. And we see ourselves in that character. And if we can relate with somebody in this movie in particular, like you're saying, of a character that might not be you exactly, but you can relate to that person, it might make us relate a little bit more in real life. And I think that is something good filmmaking and good storytelling in general can do, is bring us just a little bit closer together. Just a little hair here and there never hurt.
Can I ask you what was the film that scared you the most when you were a kid?
Oh, there's a couple. Not that I'm a scaredy cat. I love my horror movies, and I will continue to be scared to this day, which I absolutely love to be. But growing up in a Catholic family, The Exorcist very much scared me.
Mm, that's a good one.
Getting to see that on the big screen, though, at the Fox Theater here in Bakersfield, California, was one of the highlights of my in person, in a theater, seeing people's reaction experiences. And that's one of those things like, yeah, I need to be a part of this. I need to be making stuff like this. I need to make people throw up green slime on other people. It's got to happen. And then uh, I don't know how to describe this other than it just scared me as a kid, as a little kid. Chucky, Child's Play,
Yeah,
the first one at
dolls are
least. The other
creepy.
ones got
Dolls are
funny.
creepy. Yeah.
EP. And I remember going to Halloween Horror Nights and seeing him talk to the crowd because they had the little animatronic they controlled outside, and I was
Mhm.
still like, I don't trust it. I don't trust this guy. That's all right.
I do like the new
Uh,
series. I think they're doing a lot of good stuff. So it's fun how that franchise has continued to grow over the years.
I am enjoying it. Yes, I'm a little behind right now, but I cannot wait to catch back up because it's sci-fi. The Sci-Fi Network did a great job with that. Really great job.
I think it's on streamers. I think it's on Peacock, or it's something that's accessible for people. So that's always nice. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's where I think I was watching it too on Peacock. I had a couple nights off from work finally. I was like, time to catch up, and now I have to wait for another one of those kind of nights. Oh man. But actually, speaking of movies that scared us as kids, though, but before that, how long have you been making films? And are there any movies that you could point to or experiences that you could point to that wanted to make you a filmmaker?
Yeah, my background's in media arts and animation. I went to art school. I didn't go to film school. I love animation as a medium and as a way to tell stories. I didn't always see a path to being a filmmaker because of the technology. I saw that as kind of a barrier, but I always liked telling stories and I always loved movies as a form of storytelling. But so it wasn't until later when I was 36 I wrote and directed my first short film. So I'm about 40 now. I've been making short films in the Bay Area. I've made several shorts, different proof of concepts, and I just recently finished my first feature film that it's going to be going to festivals. It's called Dead in Love. It's a bisexual paranormal rom com. I'll give you the quick log line. It's about a bisexual ghost who falls for an attractive couple living in her former home, and she proceeds to try and poltergeist her way through their hearts. It's I'm telling people it's like Beetlejuice but gayer. So I'm hoping it connects with an audience. It was fun to make. I made it during COVID. We all had this like window of creativity. So it was a fun experience, but it's got me thinking about how can I make my next feature. And my next
Oh, heck
feature I'm
yeah.
working on is a lesbian vampire movie. I'm working on trying to get a kill every 10 pages. So I'm in the discovery phase of writing that script, and that's a lot of fun right now. But just maybe it's just being a woman or a minority and being uh, thinking that barrier to entry in terms of being a filmmaker wasn't a possibility at first for me. I was participating in different like film co-ops in San Francisco and in different film groups, and I started producing and I started working with different creatives, and that gave slowly gave me the confidence to say I can write and tell my own stories. I can write and direct my own stories, and I like to remind people filmmaking is a collaborative process. No one makes a movie by themselves, or I would hope they wouldn't, because part of the fun is bringing your friends along with you, working with friends, working with people that are just as passionate about the story as you are. And so the my best experiences working on films have been with I include my family, I include my friends, and it's we're sometimes we're learning as we go, but that's part of the process. And so I tell people I'm a regional filmmaker because I love the Bay Area. I plan on staying in the Bay Area and I want to create more jobs in the Bay Area. The festival is part of that, highlighting talent in the Bay Area. Um, and so it's just if I, anyone who's out there who's maybe struggling, they have a story they want to tell, they don't know how to start that process. Just having the passion to tell the story and take baby steps to do that. Join a group or a club where you can start practicing those skills in kind of a safe way. If you can do that with your friends, all the better. Pay them in pizza or whatever they like to eat. But you support and respect the people that you collaborate with and help them on their projects. Um, but I do like making films within my community, and that I enjoy that process of it.
I love that too because I think there is so much talent in our own backyard. Sometimes we might forget that, and the fact that you want to create jobs and nurture that talent in your area, in the Bay Area, that is impressive on its own right there. Because LA is great. It's fine. It's just, I prefer where I'm at as well. I actually prefer to be in Bakersfield and work with those that I can work with nonstop. Because if the project is small or large, I just want to keep working. I just want to keep making movies. I want to keep telling stories. And there is so much to be said about so many groups out there, whether it's, here in California, like we have the fortunate enough to be, because I do love me some California. I'm not going to lie,
Me
but
too.
there's great places in New Mexico or New York or anywhere throughout the country or across the world. You're gonna find other talented people who want to make movies too. I bet you. So it's very important, like you said, join a club, join a group, and start helping others, and they're gonna help you back.
Yeah, pay it forward. Pay it forward.
100%, 100%. Now, are there any people that gave you that first step to make you feel comfortable enough, like, hey, this could be a path for me? Is there anyone that kind of highlights in your mind?
I was fortunate enough to have a supportive family, but like I want to one of the things that stands out in my mind is like when I tried to make my first short, it was a complete fail. It failed, and that pain of failure, we learn a lot from our failures. So I encourage people to try and fail because that's how you grow. But I still think of that first failure whenever I go into a new project because I want to be set up for success. I learned from those mistakes. Um, but it was I did get caught up in certain things. Like sometimes people they create the barrier that prevents them from moving forward with a project or something in life. And so like some people might say, "Oh, I can't make a film. I don't have enough money to make a film." So one of the things I did a crowdfunding campaign. I said, "I need this amount of money to do this story, to make this film. We need A, B, and C. We need this location. We need these actors." We did get that, and then it managed to fall apart. But in moving forward, like I know moving forward, I might need more rehearsal time, or I might needed to do A, B, and C to prevent certain things from falling through again. But because of that experience, I had raised all this money. The project didn't, and then at the end of it, I didn't have a project. I told myself, well, how much money do I have left in the bank? I have $400. We're still going to shoot something. We're going to do it with a very small crew, and then there's no excuses. You give yourself the parameters to succeed of what this is what we're going to do. You make a goal, and then we made something. We got it into local film festival. We got into Quagmap is a queer women of color film festival. And so it was nice that the actors and the people that worked on it got to go out. They got to see the film on a big screen. But just doing that experience, the film wasn't perfect, but I completed a project. I made a film, and it made making the next film easier. So learning from that first failure was hard, but I really needed that lesson.
I can not count how many times I've failed at making a film, and I couldn't agree more. Those lessons in not succeeding really do build the success later on. Because
You need
you
to be
can read all
resilient.
you
Yeah.
100%. Oh man. Oh yeah. There's nothing like a bunch of no's in the film industry that'll keep you going. And then some days it's not so easy, but you're gonna have to just live with them, and that's
You're gonna
okay.
hear a
That's
lot of
okay too.
no's. So yeah, you gotta work on that tough skin. Gotta work on it.
And then speaking of no's, as far as entry into the film festival, now this is year two. Um, I'm obviously there's got to be a little bit at least of picking and choosing of which goes into it. Is there any criteria or maybe even some technical aspects for deliverables that you think filmmakers should know about before they enter into a film festival?
Well, always focus on having really good sound. It makes the difference, especially if the film is presented. Um, right now, we have a couple categories. So we have a short film category where it goes up to 25 minutes. In this particular festival, we have a few longer shorts, but people had done really quality work. It was a good story, and so I can take in a long short and then mix it with a shorter short. We also have a feature category because we do other single events where we'll highlight a feature and then show a short film in front of it. Um, so I encourage people that have independent features that maybe they didn't get into the bigger festivals to reach out, and we could, if it's a great film, if it's telling a great story, we'll do a special event around it. So um, though right now it's just we just have a short film and a feature category. I do moving forward next year want to have start a student category because we do have a lot of film schools and art schools in our area, and I want to be able to amplify some of the student filmmakers. I was sharing a film waiver on Facebook with a student filmmaker. If I'm not sure if we can put a code in the notes or something, but if people would like a discount code, it's Evil Pop 3, and they can submit their film. It's a free waiver. At this point, we're get coming down to the wire, so I don't want someone to be not be able to submit a film because of financing. So if that is a free waiver, you can submit your film and it will be reviewed and considered. And then, but our deadline for submissions is going to be January 16th on Film Freeway. So we're coming up on that deadline.
It is getting there. We'll definitely add that into the description. And then let me know it's going to be on screen in just a second. Is that the proper way to do that? Evil Pop 3?
It'll be all lowercase and then the
All
number. Yeah.
lowercase. Okay, let me fix that then. So for those, this will be on the YouTube and on the different streaming podcasts. I just want to make sure they get that correct then. 3. All right, guys. So just in case, if you have something ready to go, something right there, a little better.
Yeah, that's great.
Perfect. There we go. Okay, so this way you guys can see it as well. I think that's excellent too, especially to include people who are just starting out and learning the process. I was in film school for about 6 months before I had to come back home, back to Bakersfield. But it can be daunting to start something so large, and I thought it would be easier, starting film school versus just doing it on my own. It is not. I was sorely mistaken. So any chance and any kind of help you can offer to students in any kind of field, honestly, this goes for anyone out there. If you are in a certain position to help students who are trying to better themselves and learn, help them out because that's just paying it forward, like we talked about earlier, right?
Well, and also being out in the Bay Area, it really is a small film community. You're gonna circle back to similar people. It will just overlap in different projects, and it pays to be kind. It costs nothing to be kind and be helpful, and you would hope that someone would want to do that for you. Um, and again, amplifying and supporting local talent because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? So.
100%, 100% agree with that. Now, as far as the festival itself goes, this is the second year. You said that the first one happened before the pandemic, yes?
We did one, and we were at a different theater. We were in a really nice theater in Livermore called the Vine Theater. They served, beer and wine and fancy food and stuff. And what's nice about being at the new Parkway is that it's more central. So we're getting people from San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, and then East Bay people like more closer to Alameda, Pleasanton. Being in Oakland is easier for more people that are interested in the subject matter coming out to us. Before, when it was just in Livermore, it was a little too far for everyone in San Francisco to make that trek. So, yeah.
That is what is the Walt Disney saying? What's the best thing? Location, location, location.
Right,
That
right.
is
Yeah.
what do you call it? That sounds very exciting. And as far as now going into year two, do you have any goals or plans as the years progress? Like what do you see the festival in 5 years?
Well, right now it's a very small festival because it's just me and a few volunteers. And so I would definitely like to expand it to have multiple days. Right now, we do one day programs several times a year, spread out. But I would love to have like multiple day blocks where um, uh, we're highlighting more features, more shorts. But for right now, it's small just because of the limited volunteers that are working it. But if we're able to expand in the future, sometimes we get sponsorships, and that helps with paying for certain things. We could definitely expand our growth, but right now it's a small team. So
Understandable, understandable. Well, that is still pretty dang great though that you guys are doing something multiple times a year. About how many times a year do you think you guys will be able to go?
we try and do something every 3 months. So it really depends on the film and the interest. And so as long as the interest is there, we'll keep putting on events.
Very nice. And so that definitely gives more people more chances to showcase. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's nice to hey, it's one night only. Get on over here.
Yeah, it's special. It's an event. You got to get off your butt. You got to put pants on and go outside. So
Oof, that is rough sometimes. I will
it's
say
a
that,
tough sell
but
after people were inside for so long. I know, but every now and then you got
no,
to go.
no, but absolutely. Yes, yes, especially for going to see films. I think we were talking about this right before. Just being in theaters is just such a different experience than watching at home.
It really is.
I don't
It's
know
the
about
extra laugh track. Like I really love being in a crowded theater and everyone is sharing that experience of this movie, especially if it's interactive, especially if you're like, oh no, the pretty person's gonna get it. That's what you get for being pretty. Like it's really fun when you watch a horror movie and bad things happen to bad people. There's really something fun about watching that in a group. So
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we did talk about the movies that scared me, and I did ask you about what are some things that inspired you to make films, but I don't think I asked at least what are some films that scared you growing up?
the Children of the Corn, the first one is still very
Oh
creepy.
yeah.
Because that's a frightening thought of children killing their parents and taking over, you know? And then,
Yeah.
like, it's like Logan's Run where it's like, "Oh, you gotta kill the older once people age out of being a child, then they're gone." So, a doomed society is kind of a frightening thought. The group mentality of being taken over. Um, also, who doesn't like Freddy Krueger is creepy just because you can't sleep. The idea of just how do you not sleep is like a frightening thought. Everyone has to sleep. So that was just a fun idea. But I do have a soft spot for zombies, anything zombies. I like the George Romero zombies, the traditional slow ones. Um, the fast ones, they should not be fast. Zombies are slow. I'm a purist. But I that's another fear. Like if that would be my worst nightmare to be just a mindless beast that consumed flesh and had no thoughts or love. That's a terrible idea, a terrible existence for anyone. And when there's terrible things in the world like a pandemic where we're losing loved ones left and right, it's that zombie mentality where like, yeah, you take stock of what you have, you appreciate the people in your life. So the idea of being a zombie is still a frightening thought. That would be my worst nightmare.
Oh, yep. I agree with that. I love the Romero series. I was fortunate in high school. I went to Jersey and I handed him my first script I ever wrote, which was a zombie movie set in a high school. Obviously,
Oh
you write
wow.
what you have around. It was
Yeah.
not formatted. It was typed out on an old typewriter that I had at my house, and he was gracious enough to keep it. And they said they'll give me notes. Um, and his handler at the time sent me back an email saying they appreciated it, and I was blown away that he even was willing to
Gave you a
accept it.
response. Yeah.
I was like,
That's sweet.
yeah,
That I'm sure you appreciate your enthusiasm, you know?
I hope so. I hope so. Rest in peace. He's still my. That's literally my filmmaking hero right there. If it was
You know
not
what
for Romero
one of his first jobs was? Do you know? He
making
worked on
commercials, I thought.
he worked on Mr. Rogers. He was a cameraman.
Oh
Mr.
my
Rogers'
gosh, that's right,
Neighborhood?
huh?
Yeah. Just funny.
Oh,
That from that to zombies, so
oh yeah, I mean, the crossover's there somewhere. I hope not too, in the face for the kids because that would be terrifying to go from, Mr. Rogers into barricade the doors, guys. That
yeah.
would that would not be the best children's show. And Mr. Rogers was so pure. That dude was good people.
Yeah.
So man, now that again, sad now. All these guys we're talking about are dead. Let's go with more lively horror talk. All right, you talked about having international filmmakers allowed to enter. Is there a difference as far as categories for international and local, or you kind of mesh them together as far as time goes?
I mesh them together because a short's a short, and so it's just I'm just looking for something specific. And sometimes, what's nice about an international entry is that you're getting something different. You're getting a different perspective, and so it's just refreshing, and it just adds to the collection of what's being showcased.
Oh, couldn't agree more. Yeah, I mean, talking zombies and other perspectives, I still love the Night Eats the World. I believe it was a French horror, French zombie movie, and it's just such a wonderful take on the genre.
I'll give you a recommendation for you and your listeners that this is a short that's available online, but we had him in our first festival. Fabio Saros is a French filmmaker, and he has this really wonderful, funny, campy horror short called "Bitch, Blood, and Popcorn," and it's very stylized. Like if Quentin Tarantino was French and he made a horror movie, this is what you would get. So I loved how stylized it was. I loved the music, and he was someone he was so generous when I reached out to him because I'd seen his work before, and I bought like a poster or a record, and he signed it, and then he waited till his one of the lead actresses came into his studio, and he had her sign it too. And so just he was very generous with his time, and um I'm just a fan of his work. I'm waiting for him to make a feature because I really he has some really strong short films and just a good talent.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I will definitely watch. You gotta send me the link for that.
I'll
That's
send you
gonna
the
go
link.
up.
It's just the name alone.
Oh yeah, it kind of plays in a little bit here because we were talking about the Blood and Popcorn Film Fest.
Right.
Is that any
Well,
inspiration there, or was that?
that's why we showed it in our first one. Yeah, I just thought, well, those are the things I need blood with my popcorn. That's you're in for a genre festival.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
We're actually
there's
I was gonna say next week we're gonna be shooting a small promo for the festival, and so I was hiring some actors and pitching ideas for the promo, and so we're gonna one of our sponsors is a makeup effects artist, and so we're gonna have a really good kill in the promo. I'm looking forward to us filming that. So yeah.
nice, nice. I love that take on it too. I don't see a lot of promos for the film festivals. I love that idea, by the way. I like
Just something
the
fun.
unique
I don't know
take.
if you've been to Alamo Draft House. They always have some kind of fun promo, like like don't stay off your phone or you'll get killed. Like something like pay attention to the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So okay. In that light, I love that. I love that. That's actually one of the few horror things I get to do every year and make sure I go is in Texas, right next to the Alamo Draft House called Texas Frightmare Weekend. It
Oh,
is
nice.
one of my very favorite events. Great filmmakers, great people, great horror merchandise of all kinds. I might spend a little too much money. I might drink just a little
Yeah,
bit too much, but it's vacation, all right? It's gonna
yeah.
happen.
That's the time to do it. You're in Texas. I go down there every
Heck
now
yeah.
and then to see my brother in Midland. So there's some nice festivals in Texas.
Oh, heck yeah. Are there any that you like, or that you have a chance to go to and, that you'd recommend?
Yeah, there's another really fun one out here in the Bay Area called Another Hole in the Head, and they're a big genre festival. They have like a 2 week long festival. They're a really big festival. They're award based too. And then I also for some of my shorts that are queer comedy shorts, I really had a good experience at the Seattle Queer Film Festival. And they treated everybody, even if you had a short from a feature, they just treated their filmmakers really well, and they put together a great program. It was another 2 week long festival. They had events for networking, filmmaker parties, free drinks. So just it was just a good time, and it stood out to me as like I'm gonna always try and submit something to those festivals because they're fun. So
Nice, I love that. Yeah, the more of an event it can feel like, I absolutely love that because I just wanna be there to celebrate with everybody and just to do fun stuff while you're technically it is work. I'm not yeah, it's still networking, but if you're gonna have
it's
fun while you
fun.
do it.
Yeah, it's fun though, and like it's fun to meet other filmmakers who are excited about their projects. I was volunteering this last year at another Hole in the Head. They asked me to MC a few of the Q&As, and it was really nice to meet some of these filmmakers. And like, there was a few that I really liked their work, and I was like, oh, we got to get that film for our festival. And so we got a couple people that where it's like, oh, it was nice meeting them in person and seeing a crowd react with their work. And so looking forward to them getting that same experience at our festival.
Awesome, excellent. Now we have been mentioning a couple of your shorts, and you did say a couple of concept films. If you had at the moment, just don't worry about the money at right now. Whatever you need, you got it. Is there one particular film that you can talk about that might not, whatever it may be? What would you pick? What would your story be right now?
I'm currently pitching on the lesbian vampire script, and I can give you the little log line. The working title is called Last Bite, and it follows a vampire who has lost her taste for blood, and she hires a sex worker to reignite her thirst. And so it's a one night movie. They're stuck in a hotel, but I've been telling people it's Blade meets Pretty Woman. So you got some action, you got some romance. There's something for everybody, but it's a good time. We also need more lesbian vampire movies other than The Hunger. Every time you say lesbian vampires, people say The Hunger. I like my vampires with fangs. The Hungers, they kind of cheat. They use little knives. So again, I'm a purist. I want to see the fangs. Uh, so that would be that. That's going to be my next one. That's a big swing. Like I want all the money to go towards practical in-camera effects, makeup effects. I want to hire. I want to hire locally. I want to amplify the talent that we have locally. In my last feature, I worked with a local theater company called Latinx Mafia, and we highlighted Latin performers, and a lot of them were commercial performers that hadn't done a feature. So it was a really exciting to them that they got to do their first feature. And these people, they're on these like some of them are on these national commercials. They're just a step away from being someone famous. And so it's kind of fun to see them at the start of their career and getting to work with talented people that maybe somebody might count out because they don't have as many credits. But again, it's about finding good people excited about the project that they're right for the project and they can help move it along. So
Oh yeah, I mean, when you see the talent, you just know they're gonna do something special very soon. It's so great to be at the beginning stages, or just hey, I was part of this project with them before they did whatever it might be that finally set them off. Is there any particular actor that you want to name drop? Like, yeah, I worked with them before all that.
one of the comedy projects that I'm in post on, but will be done soon. It's a lesbian mermaid short film. It's called Fishy. The idea is that it's a lesbian version of Splash, but we have some fun with it. We had some really great talent. Some of the name talent involved was Haviland Stillwell. We had Jill Bennett, Jackie Monahan, and Lisa Haas, and these are all they're all openly gay performers that have been around in the industry for a long time, but they're part of the community and they amplify the importance of queer visibility. So that's why I bring up their sexuality. But they're also just really funny women. Jackie Monahan is a really great comedian. Jill Bennett has been in the industry for a long time. She's just such a professional, so funny as well. Haviland Stillwell is doing really well. She is a voice actor and has been in a ton of bigger Hollywood projects. So here was, and Lisa Haas as well has been in some really great projects. So here were these talented women that wanted to work on my little project, and it was nice to see that talent come through in their performances. So that
Oh,
and that was my first SAG project, and we got permission. It took like over 2 months to get approval through the office because they were on strike and they were only approving tiny projects, and ours was a tiny project. um and so it that waiting was very tricky, waiting to be approved, making sure we had everything in place. But it is nice to work with talent that like sometimes the best thing you can do is just casting right. So casting the right person, and they bring that character to life. So it was really a treat working with that kind of talent, and moving forward I'm looking forward to working with more talented people to bring other stories to life.
nice. And if there is anybody out there that famous, someone you saw from another film, at the festivals, anybody, is there any particular actor or actress that you want to bring into a project? If you're like, oh, this person has to be this character. It's almost perfect for them.
In my comp for the lesbian vampire movie, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the L Word. Gen Z was just recently canceled, and a lot of sapphic shows that are on different streamers get canceled, whether they don't find their audience or not. But there are a few actors that were on that show that there was enough fandom around them. There was interest in. It would be great to see them in a genre movie where they got to play sapphic characters. I'm not going to name them now, but they're if you're a fan of that show, or any audience members are, um, I would say look up the characters Danny and Gigi. There's Even though the show has been canceled, people are in love with these characters so much that they have made compilations of their on-screen relationship. So even though the streamers pulled down their episodes, there's still these clips of these fake character relationships out there in the world because people believe that story. So
Oh,
it's just
nice.
there's strong fandom, around those
Oh, I like
characters.
that. I like it a lot. Okay, awesome. And now let me get to my notes real quick here. I see quite a few awesome pictures and a lot of great words being said about the festival. Can you tell me how it went for that first year? I mean, putting something like this on, like we said, not an easy feat. Was there anything you were nervous about that might not have gone how you wanted it to, or that you would want to improve on?
Yeah, you're always worried about technical issues because that first year we burnt a DVD, and we also had a backup, but and we had done a test version of it before, but inevitably there was some technical difficulties on the day, and you always feel bad because you want the filmmaker to experience their film without interruption, and so we had to uh, it a mistake happened in terms of like one film was skipping on the DVDs, and so we had to get another DVD. And but moving forward to correct that kind of mistake to prevent that from happening, having the films, pardon me, be on a DCP so that we don't have that issue and they can go through the theater system has been more helpful. We've done a couple events recently where each filmmaker submitted a DCP and we didn't have any issues. So for a small festival, you just want to make sure everyone's taken care of because I mean they're sharing their work. It's personal. So I don't want anyone to feel like we didn't take care of them.
I can only imagine that being a very nerve wracking moment right there. Of just, oh, if anything technical goes wrong in the moment, I'm already hands are shaking a little bit, especially,
Right.
yeah, like you said,
It's
you want to take
it's the
care of
worst
these
feeling.
guys.
It's the worst feeling because they trusted you to it's my job. I'm not getting paid, but it's my job to make sure everybody has a good time. One day, maybe one day I'll be paid, but right now it really is amplifying the community and creating a space for us to connect and be creative.
100%. And you know what? I think you deserve some money for that, because that is not just a lot of work you're putting in, but a lot of value you're providing as well. And those two pillars right there, I think some cash should come that way. Just, just my opinion. It's whatever. Um,
Maybe one day, but
maybe
right now, just putting it back into the festival, like making these connections where we have some sponsors that donate some time to make a promo or an advertisement or something. It's very generous that you're giving me a little bit of a platform to help spread the word about the festival, and I appreciate that. So thank you very much.
that is awesome. Is there any sponsors you want to name drop real quick so they can get a little bit of shout out?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to say Pandora Effects. They're out in Vallejo, California. Um, Makeup effects, whatever you need. They're just the best. Zombies, whatever you need, zombies, werewolves. You can throw any of them. They did the Grinch for Christmas one year for a couple local celebrities. But Pandora Effects, they're the best in the Bay Area. And then also, just your podcast is great, but we got to shout out another podcast that's one of our sponsors.
Please.
Making Movies is Hard is a really great podcast. They've been supporting us for this festival and shouting out promo codes for their listeners. And I just appreciated their support. So, Making Movies is Hard. If you're a filmmaker, you want some advice on how to move the needle on your projects, you want to hear how other successful filmmakers are doing in the world, they get some great interviews and they're filmmakers themselves. So you're always getting a little bit of something personal from them. So that's kind of nice.
Very nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go give a listen. I like more podcasts. I think there's room for another one and another one and another one out there. If you have something to talk about and I got the time, I'm gonna listen. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy you mentioned them. But I'm gonna let you go at this point. But before I do, is just two more things I want to make sure we touch on, and that is the first one being again February 13th, right?
February 13th, 9:30 at the new Parkway in Oakland. You can get your tickets early. It helps us if you get your tickets early. I'll be giving out raffle prizes. We're going to have filmmaker Q&As. It's going to be an event. It's going to be a good time. I hope to see a lot of you there.
Yes, get your tickets early, guys. The more audience, the better. Okay. You always hear people talk about box office numbers for these Hollywood movies. They'll be fine. Okay. Put the box office where it counts in your local film festivals and really see that amazing talent. I cannot wait to check it out for myself. And the next question I have before I let you go is you said it's based on future interest, but if you had a guesstimate for me at least, when will the next one be as well? Just 3 months out, basically?
3 to 4 months because it takes me some time to curate the films. I'm doing filmmaker outreach, and then I'm also trying again like to make it an event. So if we can partner with different companies to have something special for people, it takes a little time to organize that.
Definitely get that. Definitely get that. It's a lot of moving parts, especially when you already have one going right now. So I can only imagine trying to already plan the next one has got to be just mind-boggling.
It's
But
fun though. It's a lot of fun.
there we go. I'm glad to hear that because it seems like such a huge help for the filmmakers, in any area that might be out there looking for it, but it can definitely seem like a lot of work. So I'm glad you're having fun while you do it.
Yeah, well, and I love horror, and so that makes it that much easier.
All right. Yep. I cannot wait to check it out. Thank you so much for your time, Nicole.
Oh, thank you, Miguel. I really appreciate it.
All right, folks, you heard it, guys. Check out Blood and Popcorn. The link to get your tickets will be in the description. If you are seeing this before that January 16th late deadline, there's a promo code which will be in there as well. Go to Film Freeway, check it out. And as you heard here, there's some more coming up your way. So be sure when you have the chance, when you are ready, to submit and go check it out, guys. Thank you for your time.